Alright, what's up my dudes? So, on today's video, 2.3, basically part 3 of building this dash. First one, we mocked up the frame, we got the frame all painted, all set up looking pretty. And then part 2, we wired up everything we could except the column helper and the cluster helper. So I just want to make separate videos, so if anyone ever has any questions, I can send them just a link specifically on the column helper. So that's what we're doing today. So we're gonna go ahead and get that wired up. I'm not gonna show you exactly how to wire it up. If you read the instructions, I'm not gonna walk you through every wire, but I'm gonna walk you through a majority of all the things you might have questions on. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. And then also we're gonna compare it. I used to make column relay packs. So I used to make a bunch of relays and make them look all fancy, and they'd mount in the same spot. And at the end of the day, they both get the columns going. But I'm gonna show you why this one's the bee's knees versus a column relay pack. Now, column relay packs ain't bad, and I ain't got nothing against them. I still rock them. But I'm gonna tell you why this one's just a little bit better. Actually, a whole lot better. So, but other than that, I got them on the workbench, so we'll be able to compare them side by side and everything. So I can tell you, if you're thinking about building your own relay pack, or you get a relay pack I've made, or a column helper, what do you choose? So that's what this video is for. Let's go over here. Let's hop over to the workbench. I'm gonna show you side by side what the column helper comes with and everything. So I'll meet you at the workbench. Okay guys, so we got a column helper and a budget relay pack kit that I've built. So we got them side by side, and then I built a list so we can compare it, all the features and everything, what one does that the other doesn't do and everything. So this is pretty much what the column helper comes with. It comes with all the relays you'll need. It comes with an extra one. It comes with the pigtail to wire everything in. It comes with this cord, so if if it gets a software update or something, or whatever reason, you don't have to send it in for an update. You can just plug it in your laptop and boom, just like updating it whatever on your laptop. And it comes with all the terminal stuff and the instructions and everything. But there's your column helper. And now my relay pack, this one that I've built, or you build your own. I'm not gonna tell you how to build it. I designed my own. If you're gonna build your own, you can figure it out. But I include little terminal connectors, and that's pretty much it. And you just mount this under the column. But let's go ahead and talk about what each one does. So right here you got the relay packs, and then right here you got the column helper. So they both work for 99 to 07 trucks getting 08 to 16 columns. Both of them do that. Both of them take care of the ignition switch. And now the blinkers is where the fun stuff starts. So the relay pack, the blinkers work kind of like how they should. If you go to the full blinker, left or right, it'll flash and everything, but it utilizes the old flasher. It just uses the old flasher, and this is what makes the noise under the dash when you have the blinkers on. That click 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 click, and it's because this little flasher relay slamming back and forth, making that click click noise. Now there's no problem with that. It's worked on these old trucks for what, 20 years now. It'll still work, no problem. But on the column helper, you get to delete that little blue relay, and there's a solid state relay in here that takes care of that, and it's silent. It makes no noise. So there's no more clack, 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 clack. And you're probably thinking, well, Zach, how am I gonna know my signals are on without that noise? If I ain't paying attention. Well, if you're running the new cluster, you get to hear the new chime. So it sounds like a new truck when you turn those signals on. So in the next, once you get this dash in, you'll be able to hear it. And I'll point it out. It sounds really cool. It sounds like a brand new truck when you flip them blinkers on. You ain't got no more clacking. So that's a really cool feature that this does. So the next one is the tap to pass, and it gives you 3 flashes. This one doesn't do a tap to pass. You gotta hold it, versus the column helper doesn't. And let me go ahead, let me take you over to this dash. Let me explain that. So if you're over here messing with your turn signal switch, so that's your turn signal, right? And then you turn that way, and then you bring the wheel back, and it clicks back in place. Same with the other way. You go that way, boom, it clicks back in place. That's your blinkers and your turn signals. Now the tap to pass is like a half a turn. See how it goes back by itself? So with my relay pack, or any relay pack, you're gonna have to hold it, and the flashers or the turn signal will go, but you gotta hold it. Now the point of tap to pass or whatever is if you want to switch lanes in the freeway, you can just flick it and it'll blink 3 times automatically. You don't have to hold it. So that's pretty cool. So if you just want to switch lanes, you just flick it and boom, 1, 2, 3, and then it shuts off by itself. Versus the relay pack, you're gonna have to hold it, switch your lane, then let go. So that's a really cool feature. I really didn't think it was that big a deal until I tried it. And then I went back to this and I was like, oh man, I forgot I gotta hold it every time. So that's pretty cool with the tap to pass. Now, the flash to pass is when you pull the high beams back. Both of those do that. And then the low beams work and high beams work on both of them the way that they should. Now, the high beams are a little different on my setup versus this setup. So the way it's supposed to work is if you leave your high beams on, you turn the truck off, all the lights are supposed to turn off. But with mine, they stay on. And that's kind of something I prefer because I like to flip on my high beams, you know, if I'm out, you know, out off-roading or whatever, and I can just reach in the window and flip it forward and all my light bars come on. I like that. But the way it's supposed to work in the factory is if your high beams, the high beams don't work unless the key's in. Now you can pull the lever back to get your flash to pass and they'll both come on. But the high beams are supposed to turn off when the truck turns off, and that's what the column helper does. So it's not really that big a deal. You just got to remember to turn your high beams off when you turn the truck off with the relay pack. All right, next one is the hazards. So right here, I wrote on the relay pack, it needs an aftermarket on-off switch because it needs not a momentary switch or anything. If you use the factory hazard switch on the 08 column, you're gonna have to hold it down for it to work. And as soon as you let go, it turns them off, which isn't what you want. So basically, you can, with the column helper, you can push it down and it sends a pulse signal to this, and then this keeps the hazards on until you hit the hazard button again, and then it gets another pulse signal, and then it shuts the hazards off. So it works like it should on the column, like the factory, versus on this, you're gonna have to hold down that 08 hazard switch for them to work, or run an aftermarket on-off switch, and that's usually what I do with my relay packs, is an on-off hazard switch. So, you know, that's just one more thing you're gonna have to buy or do or deal with the relay pack versus this takes care of it all. All right, next one, the cruise control. So the relay pack doesn't do the cruise control. So if you do just a relay pack, you still have to do the cruise control, which, you know, is gonna be more time and money. So I take these and I take them apart and I modify the circuit board to work like the old trucks. So, and they're specific too, between 99 to 04, 05 to 07 is different. You know, they're all different. So these do need to be modified if you run a relay pack. Versus this has every combination built in possible. You can run a 99 to 16 cruise. You can run a 04 cruise to an 08 or 04 to 16, whatever combination you could think of. This takes care of every cruise for every year possible, which is pretty cool. So that's built in. So that's one less thing you got to buy or do with a relay pack. Now the wipers. So from 2002 to 2007, the wipers are all cut and splice. They work like they should on both of them. No problems there because it doesn't even go through any of these. But with a relay pack, you're gonna need, for the 99 to 01s, you're gonna need a wiper doohickey. And they don't work exactly how they should. You still get all your levels, you still get off, low, medium, and high, but it doesn't work how it should, like on the column helper. And so I'll show you what I mean. So this is only for 99 to 01s with a wiper doohickey. This is how they work. So this 0 is the off position. It does nothing. Basically, there's no connection, and so basically the truck doesn't know what to do. So low is actually the off on my wiper doohickey. And then, you know, kind of low is medium, and then you got high, and then hecka high. So the wiper doohickey does work, but you don't have as many settings. You can't use every single setting like the column helper, which is pretty cool. And then the column helper, actually, when you slam it back to 0, it shuts off on the column helper. Versus this, if you're in high and you slam it back really fast, your wipers will keep going with the wiper doohickey until you go to that first click up. So keep that in mind. I mean, you know, your wipers still work. You can still shut them off with the wiper doohickey. You know, it gets the job done. But if you want it to function exactly how it should, the column helper takes care of that. And there's no wiper doohickey involved. You know, that's one more thing you got to do or buy is a wiper doohickey with this. All right, what's next? Replaceable relays, which is pretty cool. So these ones are not really serviceable or replaceable. If one of these go out, you're gonna have to take this all out, take all the wires out, figure out what's going on, unsolder whatever, and replace that relay that you have in there. And it's a total pain in the butt. You don't want to be doing that on the side of the road. That sounds like a nightmare, right? But with my relays, you know, I probably built 100 of these. I've really never really had any fail. It's very, you know, probably, I think two, but it was like a blinker or something. I've never had the trucks die on the side of the road or anything with the relay pack. because, you know, relays are pretty reliable. But the column helper, let's say a relay were to fail, let's just say one did, you can pull them out. They give you an extra, slap the extra one in there, and you're good to go. Easy peasy, took you 30 seconds. Versus this is going to be some work. So the replaceable relays is pretty cool. Now next one is terminal connectors. I just use these ones right here. I just crimp them on. Mr. Swaphelper has you solder them and heat shrink them. And Bean is honestly, a lot of y'all don't know how to crimp, man. I've had guys argue with me that, oh, I've been in the industry, I'm ASE certified, I've been crimping wires with this crimper for 30 years and never had one slip out. And I'm like, oh, I don't know about that, buddy. You know. So if you, a lot of guys like to use this one. I think these are trash, absolute trash. Some of y'all even got these. These are even worse trash. So I like to use this one. It's a ratcheting crimp, so it does not release till you get it all the way tight. See, that's still not tight. It isn't until you get it all the way clicked, then it pops it out. And I'll show you. So this one only crimps in that one little spot I marked. That's it. Now this guy only crimps in that one little spot, which I think is stupid, because the wires can still just get pushed to each side and still slip out, and it doesn't crimp anything on the bottom. So I think both of these are trash for automotive stuff. Now this one I think is really good. They're not that expensive. You should get a pair if you get one. Look, it crimps it in 4 spots on one side and then 2 spots on the other side. This crimper really crimps them. So I trust this crimper if I'm gonna crimp stuff. But it's only for insulated connectors like this, not these ones, okay? You can't use these on this. It's not a good crimp at all, okay? They make certain crimpers just for non-insulated connectors, so keep that in mind. So that's why the Swaphelper kit wants you to solder it, just so you ain't got wires slipping out when you're going down the road and you're running into problems. You know, just solder it, heat shrink it, you know, that wire ain't coming out. Better safe than sorry, you know, rather than y'all running some bad crimps, y'all having problems, and I've seen it happen. So always get it, you know, if you're gonna crimp, you know, run a good crimper, or, you know, just do the Swaphelper way, just solder it, take the extra time, and you know you ain't gonna have no problems. So not saying crimping's bad, just make sure you crimp it right. That's the big issue. You gotta crimp it right. So, all right, what's next on our list? Okay, so some of the 08 switches have the HVAC controls for the electronic controls for the 2002 to 07 trucks. The column helper has that built in. It does the magic. Versus you're gonna have to modify these like the cruise control to get them to work on the older trucks. So that's more work, you know, more time, money to get done. Versus the column helper has that built in for the digital AC controls, which is pretty cool. What's next? This is field upgradable. So like I said earlier, if there's a software update or whatever, you can plug this into the laptop. Mr. Swaphelper can send you an update, and you can update it if you want, or diagnose problems or whatever. It's really cool. You ain't got to send this in or do anything. You know, you can diagnose it in the truck without having to remove anything, which is super cool. Versus if you have a problem with the relay pack, I mean, you could be chasing ghosts, which, you know, hopefully you ain't got no problems. And then the other thing is the warranty. So usually with my relay packs, you know, if they ever break down or whatever, I'll help you with it. I'll, you know, help you get you back on the road. Usually what I'll do is I'll build another one, send it to you, and then send me mine back, the broken one back. That's usually what I do. And now for the column helper, it has a 1-year warranty. He's pretty nice if you have any problems or whatever. He likes to take care of his guys. So if you got problems, you know, just let him know. He'll help you out with stuff. But it has a 1-year warranty, which is pretty cool on, you know, any defects that are on his side. So if you know, throw this in a fire and blow it up, that's not covered under warranty, obviously, and neither is mine. Nothing's covered under warranty if you damage it. So it's pretty cool. You know, this is definitely, you know, a little more pricey than this option, but I mean, with everything you need in this, you could be in it like $300 or $400, and versus this is like $700. So it is a little bit of a jump in price, but this is a lot better option. It's just a lot more stuff going on, and it's just freaking awesome. Okay guys, so those are the big differences between the column helper and a relay pack. Now Nowadays, I only run the column helpers on my dash builds, unless it's a budget build and the guy's like, hey man, I don't really mess with this truck that much. It's kind of fun, something I tinker with on the weekend. Then I'll be like, okay, well maybe yeah, if you want a budget relay pack, you know, you want to go the budget way, that's no problem. But you know, if you want to do it, you know, the best way possible and get the best stuff, you know, column helper is the way to go. So other than that, guys, you know, I think that covers most of the features on the column helper. So now we're gonna come up over here and I'm gonna start running some wire. I gotta go run an errand, but when I get back, we're gonna start wiring this bad boy. I'm gonna start showing you the first steps you need to take. So I'll see you in a minute. What's up, guys? So I decided I'm gonna split the video into two parts on the column helper. One just explaining the column helper versus the relay pack, and then part two of the column helper is gonna be me actually wiring up. The reason is because, what is this video already going on 16, 17, 18 minutes? Ain't no one trying to watch a 30, 40, 50 minute video. Just, you know, come on. So if you already watched this, it's just because you wanted to watch the column versus the relay pack. And then if you want to stay tuned and see me wired up, I guess, you know, catch my next video. I'm gonna upload them at the same time, same day. So if you watch this one, the other one should be uploaded by now. So I'll catch y'all later. Let me show you this bad boy, but you gotta stay tuned for that one. So adios.